Welcome back to our 106th episode of the Launcher Farm Show, where I interview Jeremy Snider, who runs the Snider Family group with his wife in Kansas City. In this episode, Jeremy and I talk about why farming gives you back more time, makes lead generation easier, and allows you to build more predictable income. Jeremy also shares how they leverage their community events to prospect and connect with their community without having to be pushy salespeople. And we talk about what types of events that have worked incredibly well for them and how they've adapted over the years to stay relevant and continue to add value in their farming. And we share a super easy way to add events in your business that doesn't have to cost you a fortune, it still has a big impact in your community. And Jeremy shares how to partner with local businesses and vendors to help pay for the events so it doesn't have to drain your bank account. Plus, we talk about a ton of other ideas that you can use to grow your geographic farm. So be sure to check out this episode, like and subscribe, and enjoy the episode with Jeremy. Welcome back to another episode of the Launcher Farm Show. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and today we've got a great guest. It's Jeremy Snider. Jeremy is part of the owners of the Snider Family group with Keller Williams in Kansas City. So Jeremy, take a second, tell us a bit about yourself and why you're here.
Well, one of the reasons I'm here is one of the main lead generation levers that my wife and I use in our real estate business is farming. And so, just found you a couple of years ago and watched a lot of your episode. We've had a chance to talk. We love farming. I've been in business for 5 years. My wife, she's been a realtor forever. She's been in 25 years. And then I used to be in radio advertising for about 20 years. We were married, and 5-6 years ago, we thought, hey, it's time for me to join her business. It's just me and her and a transaction coordinator. We got in business together mainly because we wanted to buy time. We wanted to travel more and not feel that we have to work, 100 hours a week. It is our full-time career for both of us, and we do work hard, but we're able to control our own schedules.
Which is part of one of the reasons I like farming, because it allows you to do that even at a higher level when you do it right, because you can be a lot more specific with your time. So let's dive into starting off with, why did you get into farming, and what was that kind of the beginnings look like for you guys?
Well, when we got in business together, 5 years ago, we looked at what lead generation levers we wanted to do, and I'm gonna take the past clients and Sphere and put that to the side. Because everybody said, okay, well, that's what we're going to focus on. We do focus on that. Then what's next? What are the other two? Because you'll hear you need to have 3 lead generation levers, and we chose open houses and farming. And I think farming, because Kansas City, like any major metropolitan area, it's pretty wide. And you see these realtors who talk about, oh, I work all over the city. I'll show you anything. And we decided we really wanted to narrow down our focus for several reasons. One, you get to know the area a lot better. And 2, you're not spending a lot of time, driving to the listing appointment if it's, in your same zip code, if it's in your same neighborhood. And then it's easier to focus on a smaller area. What do they say? What you focus on expands. So we focus on our neighborhood of 1,000 homes, and it has done very well for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like you said, the time is a big part of it, and knowing that the market well, and you can know it better than anyone else, because most people don't take the time to really learn the area. They just kind of be a jack of all trades. And I can give you examples. Like my partner just last night was working on an offer on her listing, and then out of town agent came in, and she's like, well, she can use this comparable and this comparable. And she's like, well, that's in this neighborhood and this is over here. And she said, well, have you even been in that house? I've been through this house. And when you can have that confidence because you've gone through it, the inventory, what's going on in the market, it can completely change how you do the business. And for you, obviously, when you narrowed down, were you afraid of losing business? Because that's where I find a lot of agents are afraid of farming, because they think, I'm going to miss out. There's missed opportunities. Have you found that has affected your business overall?
I think it's affected our business by making us the local experts. We're finding, that typically when a house is listed in our neighborhood, it's going to be the agent that helped them buy it several years ago. It's a referral, someone they know, or it'll be us, the neighborhood expert. And I don't think we're losing any business. I mean, my wife, early on in her career lived in a completely different side of Kansas City. And so she still has business on that other side. So if someone calls and said, hey, we're going to be moving, to Indianapolis, or hey, we're moving back from Oklahoma, we're not going to go, oh, I'm sorry. We can't do business with you because you're not in our farm now.
Yeah.
But we don't focus, we don't send mailers all over the city. We focus a lot of our marketing effort on our farm.
Yep. And the great thing is, like you mentioned earlier, you have 3 pillars. And the nice thing with farming is you can layer those on top of each other. So as
Correct.
you do your farming, your sphere and past clients are in your farm, which helps. And then the open houses, you hopefully are doing open houses in your farm too. So you're doubling up on your strategy, which will compound even more. So when you got started, what did you guys do in the beginning stages to kind of get in there and get involved? Because that's where a lot of agents struggle of taking that first step and then starting to see the results. So what was that kind of first year of farming looking like for you?
Let me go back a little bit and why my wife encouraged me to come join her business. She had sat down with a coach. My wife's very introverted. I'm sure you can tell I'm very extroverted, very gregarious and out there. And her coach said, in order for your business to grow, you either have to start talking to strangers, doing stranger calling activities, or hire somebody who will. And her light bulb went off and went, oh, my word. That's what my husband does all day long with radio. So she brought me on board, mainly to do a lot of the lead generating, a lot of the marketing. Well, I can do in my opinion, all the fun stuff. Yeah. And she has all contract negotiations and tell clients, oh, okay, we got to fix this, or your price is wrong here, or I need you to do that. So the first thing we did, because you've got 2 things, you got time and you've got money. And when we first got in it, we had a lot of time because I didn't have a huge database yet. So I did door knocking in the neighborhood. And we did it around events. Yeah. I wasn't door knocking going, are you thinking of selling your house? It would be something like, I actually brought some of my samples here. Hey, we're having a neighborhood coat drive this weekend. Side note, this coming weekend is our 6th annual coat drive. But I'll be there. Hey, if you happen to have any coats, we're going to be down there at the park for an hour. Come on by. And they go, okay, I'll do that. Hey, by the way, do you know anyone up and down your street who's looking to sell their home here anytime soon? And then you get into a conversation, whether it's nope or well, as a matter of fact, and then you just take notes. And we did that. We did that for a while. We do an annual cornhole tournament. Door knocked there. This is one of our newer ones, but it's neighborhood candy caravans. That's awesome. We did door knocking a lot. There's 1,000 homes, and it takes about 40 hours to hit all homes.
That's awesome.
I timed it.
There's a ton I want to dive into, and that's why I wanted to have you on here, because you guys are really crushing it with the community events. And anyone who's watched the show knows I'm a big believer in community events, and I think it's one of the best ways to cross over your strategies and use what I talk about this strategy stacking. You can prospect, you can get out, you can meet people, you're connecting with people, you're adding value to people, you can bring in local businesses. There's so much you can do with it. So when you guys got started doing events, what was that looking like at the beginning? Because again, sometimes that first event is the most daunting, scary thing to do. And once people have done an event, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. So what was that first couple events?
Our very first event, which we got from our R&D department, our rip off and duplicate department from another agent in our office, was a paint can recycling event. Here in Kansas City, if you have old paint cans, you have to schedule an appointment with hazardous waste, drive to the other side of town, get in line. And we thought this would be great. You could all bring it down to the park. We had a big old truck. We'll load it up, and we'll do that for you, adding value to the neighborhood. And I sometimes think that, God has a great sense of humor, because that event was amazing as far as response. We collected well over 3,000 cans of paint. I mean, we got down there an hour before it started, and some people had already brought stuff down. But that we haven't done it again. It was so massive and so successful. Well, and here now, 5-6 years later, we still have people say, "Hey, I came to your paint recycling event. Are you doing the paint recycling event again?" I had to go out and rent a second truck that weekend, and we did it like at the end of the month, and that's when everyone moves. And I was afraid I was not going to be able to find a truck, or it was going to cost $2,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first event, and I did door knock. I door knocked every house, starting 2 weeks out, and it is just we've gone continually doing well with this
awesome.
Community.
That's all. So after that, how did you shift into the next type of event then? And what was the events?
I should have kept a calendar of what we do. I think it's looking at what we think the folks in the neighborhood are going to enjoy. We're single family homes. Some are empty nesters. So we try to look at stuff that will appeal to the masses. Trying to think in any particular order. I'm looking through all my stuff here. Another event we've done is, again, from our rip-off and duplicate department, is our dumpsters and donations. This is an event. It's tied in with the neighborhood garage sale. Because when people do a garage sale, it's not because, well, I'm going to spend this weekend to make $175. They just want to get rid of their stuff. And after the garage sale, they don't want to take it back in their house.
Yeah.
So we partner with a local charity, and then we rent a couple huge dumpster. The first year we had a small truck for donations, and we just hired one of our local vendors that's a junk removal guy, and he had to make 4 trips back and forth. And he told us, he said, "Yeah, you need to get the big dumpsters." And we did that for a couple of years. And last year we had 2 dumpsters.
Wow.
Our neighbors have a lot of junk. They'll bring the stuff in. The charity can choose. We'll take that bicycle. Yeah, we'll take those board games. Or they're like, yeah, no. And they trash it. And I know a lot of people are going, well, man, those dumpsters are expensive. I can't afford. I'm just starting my business. Well, I've done a good job, I think, of partnering with local business owners in the farm.
Yeah.
So this isn't my title company. This is not my painter. This is not these are people in the neighborhood that also want to be part of it. And then we get them. It's hard to see. Various sponsors. Yes, there is a lender there, but he lives in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And many of our events, here's another one. We always have sponsored on most of the events. And I don't use that to make more money.
Yeah.
I look at that to help pay the cost. So if it's, whatever the cost is, I divide that by 5, and I'm one of the sponsors. I get 4 more, and we're going to do equal share of cost there.
That's awesome. And I think you mentioned it earlier, and I think it's important to note is that you're doing things that the community would want and need. And that's a big difference between a lot of the way agents have done farming in the past. Is it's chest beating, saying I'm great at real estate, I'm awesome. And when you shift to what does the community need? How can I serve the community? And that's when we talk about CPR, the community positioning relationships. When you put the community first, it becomes so much easier to find opportunities. Because I've had agents come to me all the time and say, I don't know what to do. There's nothing to do. I can't find anything. How do I market to people? And I'm like, if you just think as how do I help the community, the opportunities are endless. There's actually probably too many ideas. It's trying to find good ideas, but you have to shift that. And you guys have done an amazing job at really giving back to the community first, and then by default getting transactions as a result. So I want to ask you in the vein of that question is, how do you guys parlay that? Because I know some people have struggles doing things in the community and then selling themselves or being present there. What do you guys do? Or what's the secret for you guys to do events and then tie it into, hey, we also sell real estate?
Well, there's consistency across all of the marketing we do. So we do our events, and I like you talked about probably too many events. And every year I'm talking with my wife, and we always go, okay, is there anything we need to add? Here's a real cool idea I saw at family reunion. And sometimes we're like, yes. Other times, no. And we also talk about, are there any events that we need to cut out, that we need to not do. The paint recycling one was like that. That was too insane. Based on some of the other things, but other marketing we do. First of every month, I send out a real estate activity report, which shows how many homes sold in our 3 neighborhoods, what the average price was, what their days on market was. I talk about the events in the email, and then I'm always asking them there, hey, if you're thinking of selling your home here in the near future, if you know anybody thinking of selling their home in the near future, please reach out. That's the first of every month. I did set up a YouTube page for our 3 neighborhoods, because each neighborhood has their own.
Yeah.
But I wanted one that we could all be in and we can all communicate various information, and just keeping our name out there. Open houses. We will change our vacation plans for an open house in the farm.
Yeah.
So we like to do open houses, around, but if it's in the farm, I call the agent. If it's ours, hey, I'll do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's another agent, I'll say, hey, I see you have a home on Slater going live Thursday. Can I hold it open the first day?
Nice.
Because some agents don't like open houses.
Yeah, most.
Other agents are like, you bet. Yeah, I would love you to.
Yeah.
And
And
so
especially when it's in your farm, this is why I always say, like, even if you don't like doing open houses in your farm, you should be doing open houses. You can make the executive decision, say, you know what, I'm not going to do much open houses outside my farm, but open houses is one of those layers that just slices in beautifully into your overall plan and can be leveraged in multiple ways. So that's huge. So I want to ask you then about piecing it together and making the decisions on what stays and what doesn't. Because you mentioned you kind of nix some things and you add some things. What is kind of, if any, do you have a litmus test of saying, hey, this is what we're keeping, this is what we're not, and how do you make that decision? Because that can be difficult to cut things or add things.
Yeah, we look at the calendar, and we go, okay, well, we've got a lot. Business is going to be busy at this time of year, but we don't want to necessarily add anything into that. And the litmus test is what kind of feedback are we getting? And the feedback isn't, oh, that was a great event. Come talk to me and let's sell my house. When COVID happened, we added 2 events. One, we used to do a huge Cinco de Mayo party at our house. Well, when COVID happened, well, we can't do a potluck dinner anymore. Let's do a food truck event. Let's get a taco truck down at the neighborhood park. And COVID had been on long enough where people were like, okay, I need to get out.
Yeah.
So we had a taco truck, and oh my word. I mean, the community was going, I need to talk to people other than my family. Yeah. And so that worked well. Again, a lot of people go, well, that was pretty expensive, wasn't it? No, all my wife and I do, is we arrange the food truck to be down at the park.
Yeah. You
buy for your family, they buy for their family, I buy for my family. The food truck industry had to pivot as well.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the offices aren't hiring us. So how can we do? Let's do these neighborhoods. And it's gotten, now we have 4 food trucks, a dessert truck, and a beer truck at these events, and they all make plenty of money. And I always ask, and all the marketing I do for the food truck, hey, let me know, if you're coming and how many people, so the food truck can have enough food.
Right.
So there's nothing like being in line for 40 minutes, and you get up there and they go, oh, we're out of pulled pork. That's worked well. We do a food truck event quarterly. Some of them are tied in with some of our other events. Another event that came out of COVID was our candy caravan.
Yeah, this is a great one.
Then, we didn't know if traditional door-to-door trick-or-treating was going to happen. So we did what we called the candy caravan. A great idea came out of a coaching session with Paul Teller. Is so you get a bunch of your neighbors with their cars. Let's meet down at the park for a couple of weeks beforehand. Encourage all your neighbors to help donate candy. We got 15,000 pieces of candy.
Wow.
The Saturday before Halloween, we had about 20 cars meet us at the park. We divvied out the candy. We had all of the kids. The first year we did it, we had all the kids go to the end of their driveway, and we snaked up and down every road in the neighborhood. The second and third year, every neighborhood has their main drag. We had everyone come to Grant Drive, and so the parade goes up Grant, and we throw candy out. Then we turn around, and all the kids run to the other side, and we throw candy out, and that's been received well. We probably get more comments on that because you're doing something for the kids.
Yeah,
you do something for someone's kids. They're going to love you.
Yeah. And you're not supplying all the candy. You said the neighbors are helping support that and supply that, which is correct. Huge.
We've had some parents say the kids get more candy from the caravan than they do going door to door. Yeah. And that's probably what we know what to keep. The only thing we've ever gotten rid of is, we did get rid of the paint event. We did a hot chocolate event once, and that was just too cold.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go stand outside and have hot chocolate when they can have hot chocolate in the warmth of their house.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've seen a lot of agents struggle with is getting information and names from people at events. They have a hard time kind of collecting information or getting people to connect. Do you do anything specific to do that, or do you just relying on the brand recognition and the consistency to
No, initially we bought a list, and I don't know how good the list was. It was just the list. An AOL email of mine was on there that I haven't used in 25 years.
Yeah.
The way we get data from people in the neighborhood, we've done drawings. We got a lot of restaurants around us, so we'll do, $50 to this restaurant, $50 to that liquor store. Hey, $100 to that restaurant. And we get people to sign up. When I do open houses in the neighborhood, I have a sign in, and so I'll cross-reference their address. Oh, look, they live on 116th Terrace. They live in the neighborhood. And I keep that in the farm database with the Facebook page. I ask for their address and the email, just because I don't want people all over the world, being part of this group. So I need to verify, and I get information that way. I'm sure there are plenty of email addresses and contact information I don't have. All the mailers often drive people to the Facebook page. So I think that's value in that. Oh, I can communicate with the neighborhood versus send me your email address.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing real estate related, other than you said you do a monthly email that goes out? Are you doing anything else real estate related, or is it more just community focused?
Are you talking specifically in the farm?
Yeah.
The real estate stuff. Well, we do EDDM mailers, and oftentimes, sometimes they're real estate related. I'm going to bend over here real quick because I had one of these and grab some of this stuff here. So from a real estate related, we did this at the end of the year. These are all of the homes that are in the neighborhood that we help sell. We'll do, we're more than realtors, we're your neighbor. There's some information there. We've got this one, just, are you moving soon? Again, just some very generic stuff, but a lot of the other mailers, this was our January one, these are all the events we did. Because what we noticed, we had another similar one, and we were seeing it on people's bulletin boards or taped somewhere when we would go to their home. So this year, we found a company, do a magnetic strip. They can stick it on their refrigerator.
Yep.
And I'm sure you saw sponsored neighborhood sponsors to help with the cost.
That's great.
Of this.
That's awesome. So I got to ask, because I'm sure people are thinking it, how the heck do you manage all this and take care of it? If it's just you and your wife and a deal secretary, how are you doing all this? Because for some people, they have a hard time even doing just one event.
Sure.
What's the secret sauce? Because you put a lot into this, and
it's a lot of work. It's consistency. The candy caravans been going on for 3 years. We We do a neighborhood cornhole tournament, which was an idea I got from Kenny Klaus. I know he's been on your show before. When I saw him at Family Reunion years ago, we do an art in the park event. Once you put it all together, doing it again the next year is not that hard.
Yeah.
Here we go. For example, our event this weekend, the Coke Drive, we always do it the Saturday, the weekend before Super Bowl. So that helps us. Oh, this is coming up.
Yep.
And we also have yard signs.
Yeah.
It says Saturday, 2 to 3. There's not a date on there.
Yeah.
My son and I put these out last night. We put them in the yards, and Saturday at 3:05, I will be going out and picking them back up. So a lot of it is, you got your playbook, and you set it, and again, all the events for the most part. Okay, we're going to have maybe a mailer. Maybe we'll have yard signs, and you change the copy and you post it on social media. You take a look at the ones you did last year, and if you have a year on there, you change the year.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because a lot of agents think that they have to reinvent the wheel every time they do it, and I think consistent events is better than a new event all the time. And some people are thinking like, I got to come up with new, fresh things, and it's like, do something well that's so well. Like I'd rather you one event yearly that's just off the charts, and do it, and then you can do it over and over and over again, and then you go, okay, what worked from that, do another one similar, and then it's that consistency. And like you said, you already have the materials. If you do it right, you did the signs where you don't have to keep reproducing them, the cost drives down every time, the time invested doesn't take as much time every time, and you can literally just create the plan up front. Obviously you're going to tweak it as you go along. You might go, okay, hey, this worked, this didn't work, we have to adjust this for next time we do it. But if you do it, it becomes a lot easier. And I think some people also put more time and energy into things than they should, and it's the Parkinson's laws. The work expands to the time allotted. If you let yourself take 6 months to plan an event, you're going to take 6 months to plan an event. And I know for us, when we moved down here, my partner Nikki, we did a community garage sale last year over the summer, and she was like, I don't know, I don't have enough time. Like, just get it out there, just start it, even if it is like half good, just get it out there. So then she's like, okay, I'll take the challenge up. She went out and did it, and she's like, it was a massive success. But if she was waiting for it to be like perfect and plan this whole thing, it never would have happened. So it's like, sometimes you just got to get it out there and get your feet wet with it, and then go, okay, how do we make it better next year? How do we make it better? And I think you guys have done an amazing job at just staying on top of it, innovating, but also staying the consistency. And I think that is one of the hardest things to do, because a lot of people want to just keep coming up with new ideas, but they have a hard time staying consistent. So how do you stay consistent? Because that's how do you say, okay, this is how much time I'm doing, and how do you keep on track?
Well, we always do a postmortem with every event, saying, okay, what was good about the event, what was bad about the event, what do we need to change, what do we need to not do. For example, our cornhole tournament, we used to do it as an individual event in the neighborhood. Then we approached the HOA and said, hey, you do a big Oktoberfest where everyone comes down and it's potluck at that time. How about if we do this, to the side, and just make this event massive? And they were on board with that. The first several years, I hired a company to run the tournament. They brought all of the equipment, they brought all of the board and all the bag, and they kept all the scoring. And last year I'm watching and going, this guy brings all the equipment and sits there in a chair with a phone, and keeping score. The people come up and score that. We can do that.
Yeah.
And so we did it. And what we did, we took it to a next level. I reached out to a lot of the business owners I know in the neighborhood and said, hey, we're doing our tournament. Would you like to be a sponsor? And for that, you get your own set of custom cornhole boards, your own set of custom cornhole bags that are going to be there, for the next several years. A good thing for us. And then the veterinarian who's the sponsor, he's responsible for scoring the boards and the bags, and he can use them as he wants, and then he can bring them back next year. I hired my nephew, who is a CPA, to keep score. What we found was interesting. There were 31 teams who signed up. So running a 31 team double elimination tournament can be challenging. But the prize was bragging rights and a $30 ceramic garden gnome. So
That's awesome.
if anybody was really getting, upset for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I could sit them down and go, come on.
Yeah.
This is a neighborhood event.
Yeah.
Where it's all ages. So you're a grown man playing against a 7-year-old girl. Right?
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun. So, well, we learn things every year. Like I had someone this year say, hey, can we use our own bags? I'm like, sure, I don't care. Well, I understand that some bags are a lot better than other bags. So next year, no, you all have to use the bags supplied. Just figuring things out.
And I think like you said, you've done a great job at leveraging the businesses as well that are in the community to be part of that. And that helps offset a lot of the costs. Because for some people, it is cost prohibitive to run a fair size event up front, and you may not see the return right away. If you can partner with those local businesses, you can drive that down, but then also get the support. And I think that's a big part that a lot of people miss, is that they think they got to do the event all themselves and then go, I got to promote this all myself. I got to get there. When you not only get businesses involved, they're going to reach out to their audience. They're going to put flyers up in their businesses. They're going to tell their friends and family. And it then gets the word out there a lot quicker. So what have you done to leverage those relationships to enhance the reach in your audience or in your farm?
Well, with the mailers, for example, if they have, I know it's hard to see with the light, I will take a stack to, the roofer guy, and he can do what he wants to with them. I will tag them on social media. We also, a financial planner and I, 2 years ago, started putting together a once a month neighborhood breakfast for business owners. Again, getting together and connecting business owner with business owner, and hoping they can grow that way.
Awesome.
Looking for ways to leverage more. I think just being a constant presence. One of our sponsors, a good friend of mine, an attorney in the neighborhood, and just being present. He's referred a good friend of his. They bought a house. They then referred their mother, who sold her house and bought a house. So it's just, continually adding value and letting people know that you're a realtor.
That's awesome. So one of the things I find that a lot of agents struggle with is the temptation to jump out of the farm and expand far too early. They haven't got good reach. Where's your thoughts on that, and what's your plans going forward? Or because obviously you guys just keep doubling down, and have you considered going, okay, we kind of tapped out and we want to expand, or are you just going to go, hey, we're going to keep doubling down?
Well, yeah, it's very interesting you bring that up, because I was talking with a big mega agent at Mega Camp recently, and I asked that same question from an EDDM standpoint. If anyone that really want to get into farming, look into EDDM. Every door direct mail. It's a very inexpensive way to get mailers out, to get your message out. I was asking, do we add, additional carrier routes?
Yeah.
We'd have to tweak it a little bit, make them a little more like this, a little more generic, and not neighborhood only events. And we have decided not to add that expense. We have decided not to add more events in the neighborhood, because then it becomes, oh, good heavens. Another thing, we just want to take our events and make them better, make them things that are encouraging. I think with our food truck events, that gets people down there, because they can come and eat and leave. They can come get their food and stay. We have banners. We have a red tent that people know it's us. I also drive a yellow Tesla which is parked in a prominent place with my name on it. And so people know, oh, that's the obnoxious realtor.
That's fine.
So if anyone has any interest in talking real estate, they can do that. They can come get our business card.
Yeah.
We thought about growing, but no. I mean, even a mile or two away, they're not going to know us, and it's going to be hard to build the attention we built here in our neighborhood.
That's the perfect answer, because that's what I was hoping to hear. Because a lot of agents do that. They get the fear of missing out. They're afraid of doing that, and then they get even the slightest bit of success in their farm, and they go, "I'm going to duplicate this over here." And instead of doubling down or tenfold into their farm, they spread themselves out. Then they are trying to manage different things. They're spreading out their expenses. They're not having the same reach, and like, there's room to grow, not always in your farm, but you should always be pushing it until you get to the point where it's like, okay, this isn't making any more sense. And then, like you said, then how do we make it better? You don't have to do more stuff, but how do you make the stuff that you're doing better?
Sure.
Is it better quality copy? Is it better events? Is it better bringing more value? And is it getting better sponsors? And then you can always kind of be fine tuning it. But so many people are afraid of missing out, and you guys are living proof. Like, with 1,000 homes, like, that's the number one question I get asked is, how many homes should I farm? And they're always trying to, like, go, can I do maybe 4,000 or 5,000? It's like, start with 500 or 1,000. Like, there's plenty of business in that area if you choose the right type of farm, the right setup for you, what you're looking for. It's like, there's plenty of business for you to have, but you have to be willing to put the time in. And I find that agents they get wandering eyes for another farm or another expansion. It's like, there's plenty of business there for you, and you guys have really proven that.
And I think we all know people that, no, I am not planning to move. I'm going to be in this house for 10 years. But things change. All of a sudden, the company goes, hey, we're shutting the Kansas City operation down. We'd like to move you to Indianapolis. Oh, okay. I hadn't planned to move. I guess I either need to find a new job or sell my house and find a new thing. So people might get my mailers today and toss them. But when there's a need, I go back to my radio days. I mean, you listen to the radio and you hear all these car dealer commercials, and they're so obnoxious. And you just turn the station until you're in the market for a car.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, what's that offer? What's that offer? And then you listen, which is why, a lot of advertisers advertise all the time, because you don't know at what point someone's going to be in the market.
And in different channels too. And this is what you guys have done well, is it's not just one pillar it's not just postcards. It's not just community events. It's not just door knocking. It's when I teach strategy hacking, it's, you don't know how you're going to reach people and when you're going to reach people. So you have to reach people in multiple ways, because person A in the house may respond to a postcard, person B may respond to a community event, and person C may respond to a cold call, and you don't know how you're going to connect with them. So you have to be doing more than one strategy. The other thing I think that's important, like you said, is that you don't know when they're going to move. And so you're investing in the relationship long term. And this is why I always say I'd rather have 4 years to build a relationship than 4 weeks. And if you go with, I won't say any names of trainers, but old school trainers, if they're not moving in 4 weeks, just get rid of them, get the lead on to the next lead. And it's like, man, there's so much opportunity if you're willing to connect and create value for people. And 5 years from now, if I've been the one who they've seen, I'm the one who they've heard from, I'm the one they've connected with, I'm the one they got value from, when they make the decision, it's like the decision's already made. Versus if I just got a cold call, now you got to sell yourself as to why you're the right person. And that's like, you guys, you're playing the long game, and you know that when the time is right, you'll find those people and connect with them. That's huge.
Sure.
So if you were to give our viewers one last piece of advice, what would you tell them if they're thinking about getting involved in doing some community events in their farm? What's one last piece of advice you'd share?
I think consistency is key if you are looking at farming, and you're going to have, mailers be part of that. Look at EDDM and look at your routes. Our 3 neighborhoods have 3 routes, and one of those routes also covers an entire apartment community and a neighborhood on the other side of the highway. And so these people on the other side of the highway are getting these neighborhood events. That's not my neighborhood. But we've done the math. Well, what if we only mailed to our neighborhood in that 3rd carrier route? And the math is still better. Just continuing to do EDDM And yeah, start small. As you said, heck, if it's 200 homes, just be consistent. Door knock consistent. It's a very inexpensive way to get out there and love on your community.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice, and truer words haven't been spoken, because that's the key. Just consistency is super important, and let's do it. We always wrap up with a last book. So what's one book that you'd recommend that has made an impact on your life, or you think would have an impact on
you're gonna love this. So I spent 23 years in radio, a lot of that in rock radio, and so when I was in that business, there was a book I got turned on to called Brand Like a Rock Star, and it I don't know, have you ever heard of this?
No.
Oh, okay, you're nodding your head there. So it's by a guy named Steve Jones.
Okay.
And he'll highlight, particular rock bands and talks about their uniqueness and how they become very successful. For example, he talks about the band Kiss. Everyone knows Kiss. Yeah. Are they that good of a band? Are they any better than any other rock band out there? No, but they're different.
Yeah.
And because they're different, that has helped make them very successful. Yeah. He also talks about AC/DC. We all know AC/DC. Can you name a love song that AC/DC has? No, because they don't have love songs.
Yeah.
All of their music is hard rock, in your face, and they deliver that to their consumers, to the music fan, time and time again. So if I look at agents a lot who go, this is perfect with farming. Oh, I work all over Kansas City. I serve Overland Park and Liberty and Lee Summit and Lawrence. Oh, I also do commercial real estate. Yeah. You're all over. People know me. Even in my office, they go, oh, you do a lot in Shannon Valley and Indian Creek Estates, don't you? I don't market to the people in my office, for the neighborhood. But yes, that is kind of how we're known, and it's worked well for us. But no, it's great. It's a great book.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Brand Like a Rock Star.
I like that. That's awesome. So how can our viewers check out what you're up to, connect with you, and find out more about what you're doing?
Well, I think like a lot. I always like a text. Start off with a text. My number, I'm sure, will be in the show notes.
Yep.
And the reason I say that is because I could call them back. I get so many phone calls, like I'm sure we do, from spammers. And once you answer it, then you're in some algorithm, and they keep calling. You can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kansas City Real Estate. We do some stuff there, or email, Jeremy at sellwithsnider.com, like sell your house, not like a cell phone. Jeremy at sellwithsnider.com. And I've had people reach out to me asking, farming questions. I'm open to that. If anyone knows anyone moving from Kansas City to their market and they need to sell their house here, we'd love to talk to them. All sorts of ways to.
And your number is, just so people listening to if they're listening to the podcast and they don't have it.
Oh, 913-244-4424. That's good. Lots of twos and fours.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Awesome. Excellent. Well, Jeremy, I really appreciate you being on the show and sharing your insights and your experience with our audience. And I know that if they even take a fraction of some of the things we talked about and put into business, they will see success. So thank you for sharing that with us and sharing with me too. And I always love to learn what people are doing. So thank you for that. And I'm excited to hear where your business goes in the future as well.
That'd be great. We'll stay in contact.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you'd like more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook page and our other social media channels. Looking forward to bringing you more great content like this, and happy farming.